Good morning, everybody. Welcome to UCI and the School of Engineering. We're excited that you will be joining us today for the transfer orientation. Before we begin, I want to just take a moment to introduce myself and the rest of my colleagues. My name is Mitzi Orn, and I'm one of the advisors here at UCI. I work with mechanical students. So if you are a mechanical major, I will be working with you throughout your time here at UCI. And I'm not sure which one of the counselors are here today, but I will see Erica here. So I will turn it over to Erica.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Erica Juarez. I'm also one of the academic counselors, and I work with our chemical engineering students. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Caesar, and I am working with the electrical engineering student.
Hi, everyone. My name is Maggie Anderson, and I am the advisor for aerospace engineering.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Andrea. I work with the computer engineering majors.
I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Caesar now, who will start the presentation.
So as you might have noticed, this presentation is being recorded just in case any of you miss anything, but we also will be sending out the slides later today for you to review and click on the many links we have for you today. So here's today's outline. So basically after the presentation, we're going to be, during the presentation, we're going to be reviewing academic policies, requirements, and we do have a guest speaker for you today. We'll break for lunch from 12 to 1. And then in a separate Zoom link that your academic counselor will be sending you, from 1:30 to 3, you will be registering for courses and asking them any questions you might have during the enrollment process. So expect that separate Zoom link to come in around the lunch hour. So keep an eye out on that via your UCI email. So one of the big events that we do recommend that all students attend is Welcome Week. Welcome Week is through the week 0 that we have for students. So during this time, you do have a chance to walk around campus, get familiar with where your courses are, but also there is the new student convocation at the Byrne Event Center, the Engineering Dean's Welcome that is here on the engineering side of campus, and you will have the opportunity of participating in the Anteater Involvement Fair, where we have hundreds of clubs and organizations that are there to essentially try to convince you to join one of them. You don't and are not required to join a club during your first quarter, but this does give you a good opportunity to see how you can get involved during your time at UCI. Oh, and later when we send the Zoom link, the presentation slides out, you will be able to click on that link, which will show you the variety of things that are going to be available for students during Welcome Week. So some important dates that you should keep in mind. So all of you should have submitted your transcripts to the UCI admissions office by July 1st. We do have a September 15th deadline for coursework that you might have completed during the summer. So if you have any courses that you were finishing off during summer 2022, make sure you get those transcripts in by September 15th. And for international students, there is a mandatory international center check-in for your visa called I Navigate UCI. So keep an eye out from the International Center email that provides you a link to completing this check-in. Fees are also due on September 15th at 5 p.m. And I'll provide a little bit more information in the next slide about this. So before fall quarter begins, you do have the opportunity of waiving out of the UC SHIP health insurance plan. So this is something you're automatically enrolled in as part of being a UCI student. It is about $700 per quarter health insurance plan that the university registers you for. So if you have something that you feel is comparable to this via your own health insurance plan, again, you are welcome to waive out of that. The deadline is September 1st, so that does give you a couple of days to submit that information. And again, this link will be sent out today so that you can click on the link you see there to waive out if that is something you want to do from UC SHIP. Again, tuition is due September 15th at 5 p.m. If you receive financial aid, it does apply automatically once you've registered for courses. Again, you'll be registering for courses later today at 1:30. If you do not receive financial aid, you can pay through Zot Bill online, and usually your Zot Bill shows an amount after you register for courses, about usually up to a week after you have registered for at least a certain amount of 6 units. It does show you how many units and how much your amount is to pay. Today, you will likely be signing up for anywhere between 12 to 16 units, so you'll be above that threshold that it is asking for you. We do also have a separate link here that when you click on it, will provide you a variety of different deadlines that are available by the campus, as well as holidays, if you just want to download all of those dates to your personal calendar. So for the academic structure, as for those who might have gotten a chance to visit the UCI campus, we are all in a big giant circle with an even smaller circle in the middle of campus where the park is located. In terms of the outer rim circle, you will find a variety of the different schools that are on campus. Some community colleges might have had a similar structure where different schools house different degrees. So all of the engineering majors, with the exception of software engineering, which is housed by the School of Information and Computer Sciences, are housed under the School of Engineering. So this is also helpful if you were interested in, let's say, adding a second major, like, let's say you wanted to add English as a second major. Typically, you might need to get authorized by school of the major you're interested in for your courses. But if you're just sticking to engineering major courses and you need, let's say, a petition or something to go through, you will submit that to the School of Engineering. And these are the various departments that house our 11 majors. So I do have 6 departments that house these majors. So out of the 11 majors, we have 2 biomedical engineering and material science engineering that are also available as minors. So for some of you, this could be an option if you want to have some exposure to a different discipline with your major. Material science engineering and biomedical engineering tend to be some minors that students go for. This is an optional thing you can do, not required. You can just do one major, that is completely fine. And then for the computer science and engineering major, it is a joint major between the School of Information and Computer Sciences and the School of Engineering. So you'll have about half of the courses be software-based, and the other half are typically hardware circuitry-based because half of it is in the School of Engineering. Right, so now we're moving on to policies and procedures. So one of the requirements that you might have seen on your student portal are your admissions conditions. If you do not meet any of these conditions, your admissions could be revoked. If you have any questions about this, or if you feel like you're not sure what these are, we do advise that you contact your admissions counselor regarding your status as soon as possible. Again, this is something that is on your admissions portal, and the admissions office would be addressing any questions regarding this requirement. And for catalog rights, all students do meet these specific requirements. You all follow the 2020-2023 catalog year as a 2022 incoming transfer student. You may elect to follow future catalogs if you feel like that benefits you, but you cannot move back in time to follow, let's say, a catalog from 2015. So just keep that in mind. Catalog does provide you a lot of good information regarding the different courses you'd be taking, course descriptions, prerequisites. So this is something we do recommend students at least review so that they have a better understanding of what courses they could potentially take in the future, as well as list all the requirements that are necessary for you to complete your degree. And now I will pass it over to Mitzi for the second third of the presentation.
Thank you, Caesar. Academic requirements. So in order to get your degree certified, which that is the goal for everyone here today, is you need to complete 3 different sections or categories. The first section is UC requirements. The UC system requires that all students complete a US history and a US government course. You may have this completed through your coursework in high school. If you took a US history and a US government course in high school and you earned at least a C grade, then that will fulfill the US history and government section of requirement. Some students ask if it has to be the AP history and AP government. It does not. So if you graduated from a high school in California and you completed these 2 classes with at least a C grade, then you have credit for the American Institute and Government requirement. If you do not have it completed, you will work with your counselor when you make your complete plan of study, and they will add these courses to your schedule. You're also required, the second section that you need to complete is the general ed requirements. This can be confusing for transfer students. As a transfer student, you had the option of following what's called IGUTC. IGUTC is a set of requirements that you can complete that if you complete them, it takes the place of whatever Cal State or UC system, whatever Cal State or UC school you get into, it would take the place of the GE requirements for that school. So one of the requirements is that you either have all the IGUTC requirements done, that would be IGUTC complete, or you have up to 2 classes left to take when you start here in the fall, and that would be a partial IGUTC. If you have partial IGUTC, you can complete those 2 remaining courses here at UCI. There is some confusion on what's required to show that you have the IGUTC done. That's not something that the advisors here at UCI would certify for you. You would need to go back to your community college and have the community college certify that you're either IGUTC complete or that you have partial IGUTC, and then you need to have that documentation sent to UCI's admissions office. You'll want to do that sooner as opposed to later. Because if you think you have your IGETC completed and you don't, then by default, you're following UCI's general ed requirements. And although they're similar, they're not the same. And so you really need to know what path you're following. I've been here a long time, and so I just recently had a student that when I met with him when he first transferred to UCI, thought that he had IGETC completed. And so he wasn't really working on the general ed requirements, and he didn't follow up with the community college to see if he was done with IGETC. He's graduating in fall, and he finally followed up with the community college, and he did not have IGETC or even partial IGETC. So he's following UCI's general ed. And it kind of threw him off a little bit because he has more general ed than he thought he had done. He thought he had all his lower division done. So we had to add that to his schedule, which is a little stressful for him. So you want to make sure that within your first quarter here in the fall, you find out whether you are done with IGETC, if that's something you are following. And if you're not, it's okay not to have IGETC or even partial IGETC. If you don't have IGETC, then you by default are following UCI's general ed. And when you meet with an advisor in the fall one-on-one, they will review your transcripts and give you credit for everything they can for the general ed, and your remaining courses will be put on your plan of study. We do have a deadline for you turning in your IGETC and partial IGETC. The deadline is really for your benefit. As I mentioned before, you do not want to be caught off guard. So please follow up with that and have the documentation sent to UCI. Next slide, please. Here at UCI, we do not share your grades, your class schedule, or your academic status unless we have permission from you. So if you are okay sharing this information, there's a form that you can fill out. If you want to read the complete policy on what's shared and what's not released, that can be found in, we're going to send you this presentation later today, and you can click to this slide and read the whole policy. Next slide, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you back up to the 3 requirements needed to graduate? The 3 sections, the previous slide. Yeah, okay. I got a little sidetracked with the general ed. So the 3rd requirement section you need to graduate is your major requirements. This is what most students come in focused on, is your major requirements, but you need all 3 of them to graduate. You need the UC requirements, the general ed, and the major requirements. You probably heard me mention a few times when you meet with your counselor one-on-one, just so you know how it's going to work today. Caesar touched on it. This morning, we're doing the presentation, and then we're going to break for lunch. And then in the afternoon at 1:30, you're going to meet in a smaller Zoom group with the advisor for your major. And in the afternoon, you're going to enroll in your fall classes. So you're not going to get your complete plan of study. You're going to get your classes for the fall and perhaps for winter and spring, but that's not going to be your complete plan of study. And you're not going to meet individually with your advisor in the afternoon. What you are going to do when fall quarter rolls around, you are going to make an appointment to meet with your advisor. And that's when you're going to get your complete plan of study. And we're going to go over the 3 sections that I talked about, the UC requirements, the general ed, and the major requirements. We're going to go over everything that you have done, and what's remaining in those 3 sections will be put on your complete plan of study that you'll get when you meet one-on-one with the advisor. So today you are getting your fall schedule, but by no means is that your complete schedule with everything that you need to graduate. Okay. You could move forward. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. So I know the section I'm going over, it's a little bit dry, but it is all important information. When your goal here at UCI is to get your degree certified. And in addition to those 3 sections that I went over, you also need to maintain an overall GPA of a 2.0 in 3 areas. You need to have a 2.0 in all your UCI coursework. You need to have a 2.0 overall GPA in all your engineering coursework. And lastly, you need to have a 2.0 GPA in all your upper division engineering coursework. So in order for us to keep track, to make sure that you're on target to reach that goal to graduate with your GPAs, we're going to review your grades at the end of each quarter. And if your GPA falls below that 2.0, you are going to be put on probation. And the probation is kind of like a warning. If your GPA is higher than a 1.5, but lower than a 2.0, you're going to be put on a 1-quarter probation, and you're going to come in and meet with an advisor, and we are going to give you some resources on campus that we feel can help you get back on track. If your GPA is below a 1.5, that is a little bit more serious. So if your GPA is below a 1.5 in fall or winter quarter, you're also going to come in and meet with an advisor, and we're just going to find out what's going on, and hopefully, in addition, give you some resources to get you back on track to completing your degree. If it looks like at the end of the year you are not on track to meet the 2.0 GPA and you're struggling and your GPA is up below a 1.5, you may be asked to leave the School of Engineering and find another major on campus. Next slide, please. Academic honesty. We just want to put out there that you need to be academically honest, do your own work. Consequences for failing to do this can range from failing a grade to dismissal from the university. We do treat it quite seriously, and it does have repercussions if you have, if it's noted in your file that you violated this policy. So don't do it. Make sure that you are being academically honest. Complete policies also listed in the catalog. Next slide, please. Add and drop deadlines. So at UCI, you are not allowed to make changes to your schedule throughout the whole quarter. There's strict deadlines for adding and dropping your courses. You're allowed to make any changes to your schedule, adding and dropping courses through Friday of the 2nd week of the quarter by 5 p.m. After that time, you'll not be able to make any changes to your schedule unless you have permission. So usually with incoming transfer students, they follow the schedule that we give them in the fall. But there are a few students that want to accelerate things a bit, so they add additional courses to their schedule. And if you decide to do that, you do it sort of at your own risk, and you need to pay attention to the drop deadline, because after this drop deadline passes, it's hard, it's almost impossible to drop courses unless you have some kind of emergency outside your control, and then you would need to provide documentation. So taking on too much work and being stressed out, that's not really an emergency, so that would grant you permission to drop a course. So just make sure you plan wisely and pay attention to the drop deadlines. Next slide, please. Grades. So all your courses, all your major courses must be taken for a letter grade. The only courses at this point that you can take using the pass no pass option would be your general ed courses. Any grade above an F is considered passing, but as I just went over in the previous slide, you do need to maintain those 2.0 overall GPAs in the 3 areas that you need to graduate. So an occasional D- grade, as long as you have an overall GPA of a 2.0 is okay, but a steady, I guess, diet of D- and C- grades is not going to earn you your degree. You are allowed to repeat 4 classes or 16 units, which equates to 4 classes. I'm going to go over a little bit more in the next slide on repeating courses, but just keep that in mind. So the UCI considers any grade above a D- passing, but there are some courses where the department feels these courses are so fundamental that they have higher grade requirements than the D- grade. If you're in the aerospace major, the mechanical major, or the chemical engineering major, your advisor will go over with you which courses those are that you need to get at least a C or a C- grade in. If you are taking general ed using the pass no pass option, keep in mind that you need to earn a C or higher to get the P grade in credit. So if you're taking a class pass no pass and you get a C- or lower, that will not earn you credit for the course. Next slide, please. Repeating courses. So as I mentioned, you can repeat 16 units, which usually equates to 4 classes. Most of our classes are 4 units. When you repeat a course, once you repeat the course, if let's say you get a D grade the first time you take a course and you repeat it and get an A grade, the A grade will replace the D grade and your GPA will be recalculated. There are a few rules for repeating courses. You can only repeat courses in which you receive a grade of C- or lower. So sometimes students want to repeat a grade in which a class in which they received a grade of a B. That is not allowed. So you can only repeat courses in which your first grade was a C- or lower. Another thing to be aware of is that it's not the highest grade that stands on your record. Sometimes students are a little confused on this. So if you let's say you get a C- grade in the fall and you repeat it again and you get an A, that's an ideal situation. So the A grade will replace the C- grade and your GPA will be recalculated. There are some times or some students that using the same example, they take a class and get a C- in the fall, they retake it in the winter and they have an F grade. So some students think the highest grade stands. That's not the way it works. At this point, this student doesn't have credit for the class. They have an F grade, so they would have to repeat the class again. And so they would have used 3 repeats for 1 course. So make sure when you repeat a class that you aim to get a higher grade, not a lower grade. Next slide, please. As a reminder, the engineering curriculum and the coursework is built on a foundation of math and science. So all you guys here today, all the transfer students, you have all your math and science done. So you all came in with a strong foundation. Most of you will be spending this year taking those foundation courses for the major. So for example, if you're in mechanical, you'll be taking the statics, dynamics, thermo, material science. And we really want to remind you to study, to retain the information, because it's all the classes are tied in together. So when you take a class, you can't say, oh, thank goodness I'll never see this material again. It's going to be used in your other courses. They're all related and overlapping. So really study to learn the information, not just to pass the class. Next slide, please. Erica, I can't remember. Is this my slide or yours?
Yes, it is. I
Is
can take
mine?
over if you'd like. Yeah.
Sure, if you want to take over.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to continue on with the last section of our presentation. So as Mitzi was saying, engineering is really built on a strong foundation of prereq courses. So we want to make sure that you're also aware of some resources that are on campus that can help you. So here we've listed a few strategies for success. So one, we just want to remind you, treat school as a full-time job. We know that you're all busy with, possibly work and family, but you do want to make sure that this is one of your top priorities as well. Make sure that you are going to office hours and that you ask questions. Do not get behind. The quarter system is really different from, coming from a semester-based community college. It goes by really quickly. So the minute you feel like you have a question or you're unclear about something, make sure that you are asking for help, and going to those office hours will be really beneficial to you. We want to remind you to be realistic about the amount of work you can get done in a given period. Don't wait till the last minute to study for those midterms or those finals. Typically, what we recommend is for you to be studying 3 hours per week for any one unit you are enrolled in. So keep that in mind as you are getting your schedule to make sure that you're setting enough time to study for those classes. Next slide. All right, a few more reminders to be on top of your degree. So it is your responsibility to be on top of your degree requirements and to graduate on time. Now, as a transfer student, you do have to graduate within 3 years. Some of you, it will be a full 3-year program. Others, you may get out of here, within 2 years. Or 2 years and a quarter or two. You'll be able to discuss your specific plan with your academic counselor, but you do have the full 3 years to complete that degree requirement. Now, the best way to facilitate this and to make sure that you are graduating on time is to follow your program of study. As Mitzi mentioned, today you're all going to get your fall program of study. You'll know what to enroll in for fall quarter. Now, what we do recommend is that you meet with us during the academic year for a full one-on-one appointment, and that's when we'll go over your full program of study. You'll know exactly what your time here at UCI will look like. Make sure that you are contacting your academic counselor and you're meeting with us. We strongly recommend that you meet with us at least once a year, just to make sure you are on track. But of course, you can meet with us, once a quarter if that you find that more beneficial. Next slide, please. Okay. So there are going to be a few things that you're going to see throughout your time here. So we do want to make sure that we get you familiarized with certain forms and processes for our office. So course authorization is something that you're going to see a lot as a transfer student. Now, because you took a lot of those prereq foundation courses, such as your math, physics, some of your chemistry, some of your lower division engineering courses at the community college, although you are going to get credit for those classes and we'll update your degree works and all that good stuff, our systems don't always talk to each other. So because it was taken outside of UCI, when you do go to register for classes, if you took the prereq outside of UCI, our system won't recognize that. So this is one additional step that you will take every quarter if applicable when you're registering to request that course authorization. So we do have the form linked here. That will let us know that you're planning on registering for a class and you need to be cleared for that. We will be sending this presentation to all of you later on today. So you will get access to this presentation. You'll be able to click on the links. On your student access, there is here, as you can see, this picture here, on the left-hand side, a student profile tab, and under enrollment, you can see some of the course eligibilities. So as we clear you for certain classes, they will be listed on here. Please note that you don't have to be cleared for every single class here at UCI, only if you took the prereq outside of UCI. So something to keep in mind during enrollment time. Next slide. Okay, so a few additional forms that you'll be using throughout your time here. We want to make sure you're familiar with. So that first one is that course authorization that we just went over. So anytime a prereq was satisfied by a community college course, you'll have to request authorization. The second one there is excess units. So all students currently are capped at 18 units. That will lift on September 1st, I'm sorry, to 20 units. Now, if for some reason a student does need to take on more than 20 units in a quarter, they do need to request a petition for that. Please note that this will be considered on a case-by-case basis. What we're typically looking for is that you have a minimum 3.0 GPA, that you've shown that you can take on that amount of coursework, and the reasoning for wanting to take on more than 20. I don't think any of you will need to take on more than 20 unless possibly you're double majoring. But again, that's a case-by-case basis. The prereq substitution form is something that you would use if you're requesting to enroll in a course using an alternative prereq than what's listed on the catalog. And then lastly, here we have the proposal for individual study. Research is highly encouraged during your time here. It's a great way to get involved. It looks great on your resume. We will also be sending you some links later on today on how to get involved in research. So if you ever do need to register, you would need to complete this proposal for individual study so that we can officially clear you to enroll in that research course. Next slide, please. All right, so you're going to be enrolling later on today in the afternoon. So we just want to remind you of a few enrollment tips. So please make sure that when you are enrolling later on today, that you're enrolling in all the components of that course. So you would enroll in the lecture, the discussion, if there's a lab, if there's a tutorial, etc. Anything that's tied into that lecture, you need to enroll in to officially be enrolled in the course. We recommend that you also refer to the final schedule when you're planning out your courses. This is so that you can really get a good idea of when the finals are offered. You want to avoid having, more than 2 finals in one day if possible. So make sure you're paying attention to that when you're registering for classes. There is a comment section in WebSoc that you can refer to for specific information regarding that class. Like, let's say it's restricted to a specific major. So make sure you're paying attention to that. Some classes may be full. If that is the case, you can waitlist. Now, side note, there is no waitlist option for your engineering courses. So if that is the case, you may want to speak to your engineering counselor if it's going to impact your schedule if the class is full. Registration hold is something I want to bring to everyone's attention. If you ever do have a hold on your account, you will know by logging into your student access. It'll be in bright red stating, financial hold or academic hold. You need to make sure that any holds get cleared prior to registering for classes. That hold will prevent you from enrolling in courses. Now, if you were to log on right now, you would see that you all have an academic hold on your account. After this morning's presentation, we're going to be lifting those holds and you'll be able to enroll in your fall classes in the afternoon. But going forward, throughout the quarters, if you ever do see a hold, make sure you get that cleared up. Now, what you'll want to do is determine what department placed that hold, and you'd want to reach out directly to them to make sure you understand what you need to do to get the hold removed. Next slide. All right, we're going to go over some academic resources. As I mentioned, the quarter system is fast, so we want to make sure that we list out a few of the many resources that are available to you on campus. Okay, so we've listed some important offices here and they're all linked. So you'll be able to go through these one by one and really explore all the websites. Now, the first one is probably one that you're super familiar with right now as you've been going through the admissions process. It's the UCI Admissions Link. So if you have anything outstanding that you need to submit, you'd want to make sure you're logging into your portal to make sure everything is completed. The second one is the UC Office of Financial Aid and Scholarships. I think there was somebody in the chat that had a question about scholarships. So you can refer to this website here. They do list out all that information. The third one is the University Registrar's website. This will probably be the most used website during your time here. This is where you're going to find schedule of classes, where each quarter they'll list out the classes that are offered. You'll find a link to the general catalog. Your student access is on there, and of course, WebReg as well, which is where you actually register for courses. We have the Student Housing Office linked, Learning and Academic Resource Center. This is a great resource for those of you who need or want a few additional help outside of the classroom. They do offer some tutoring services. Our UCI Counseling Center is available to all students free of charge. It's 100% confidential. Mental health is so important, so we do encourage you to check them out. The Division of Career Pathways. In the next slide, we'll go over some of the upcoming workshops that they're going to be having that you can join in on. So do check them out. They do have things going on throughout the academic quarter as well. UC Transportation and Distribution Services. So for those of you who will be parking on campus, you can purchase your parking permit on here. You can also find maps of the campus to really navigate your way. The Disability Services Center, they do offer resources to students as well. Our Student Health Center, and then lastly, Fresh Hub. Fresh Hub is available to students. They do have a full food and toiletry pantry, so if you are in need of anything, do check them out. They are available to help you as well. Next slide. Okay, so we talked a little bit about the Division of Career Pathways. They had a few events throughout the summer. These are the last two. So if you're interested, check them out. They're coming up soon. One of them is virtual. The other one is in person. So if you haven't visited the campus, it's a great time for you to come visit, and then also check out this how to find a part-time job. You can visit the link here and it'll take you directly to their website if you are interested, so that you can enroll, and also so that you can check out any upcoming events that will be held during the fall quarter. Next slide. I wanted to make note as well of the Office of Access and Inclusion. Now, this office is actually located in our building on the second floor. They do offer free one-on-one tutoring. I want to emphasize on the free. They do have academic and career skills workshops. They hold professional development workshops. They have mentors. So these are graduate students that completed their undergrad at UCI in engineering. So they've been in your shoes, and they can also tutor you with specific courses. So the link there will take you to their mentor tutor schedule. This is updated by week 2 of every quarter. So if you go on right now, it'll probably still have their spring schedule. The fall tutoring schedule will be available as of week 2. So check them out. They're super helpful. And then they also have a study center. So if you ever need a place to study, also a place that you can go in and study. Next slide. Okay, faculty advising. I want to put this on all of your radar. All students are required to attend faculty advising session once a year. Now, this is done directly by your faculty. It is required for accreditation. You will all get an email notification regarding the date and time for your specific department. So every department has a specific date. Now, this email will go to your UCI email account. If you haven't gotten into the habit of checking that UCI email, start now. You're going to start getting a lot of important emails from different offices, from our office as well. So make sure you get into the habit of checking that a few times a week. Also, anytime you send an email to anyone on campus, make sure it's coming from your UCI email account. Otherwise, you risk that going to our spam. Now, this faculty advising, it is going to provide information regarding your specific program. They'll go over different research opportunities, career opportunities, much more. It's a great way to get to know your faculty as well. Now, not only is this a really helpful advising session, but it also is mandatory. So make sure you don't miss it. Failure to attend will result in a hold on your account. And remember, those holds prevent you from enrolling in your classes. So I do want to point out that faculty advising is not the same as meeting with your academic counselors. So we'll go into the next slide and we'll go over the difference. So meeting with your academic counselors is meeting with our office. Not the same as that faculty advising. As a new engineering transfer student, you are required to make an appointment to see an academic counselor at least by the end of winter quarter 2023. I personally recommend that you meet with us prior. I recommend that you meet with us in the fall, because again, this is when we're going to have that one-on-one with you, when we're going to go over all the classes you transferred in from your community college. We'll update your degree works. We'll give you your full plan of study so you'll know exactly what courses to take during your time here. So I recommend fall quarter, but no later than winter quarter. You can email our office to schedule that appointment. Now, we are not scheduling any appointments, during the summer or in September. So the first available appointment to meet with an academic counselor will be in October. You can email us here. This is our office email, ugengr@uci.edu. And we will start having appointments as of week 3 of the fall quarter. So you can start reaching out in October. If you do have IGETC or partial IGETC, this is a great time to make sure that you get all that set in place and that you get it to us so that we can better plan your schedule and really give you a good understanding of your remaining requirements. We will have the option of both in-person and also virtual appointments. Next slide. Okay, we want to make sure that you're aware of how to get a hold of us. So here we have our undergraduate website. I recommend that you take this website, bookmark it. You're going to use it a lot. We have a lot of helpful information on here. We have information on each specific major. We have flow charts, technical electives, resources for you. We also have something called Zot Chat. So Zot Chat is basically a virtual instant messaging system that we have for our office. This is a really good tool for those of you who have quick questions. This is not intended to replace a full appointment, but if you only have a few quick questions that you feel can be answered in, a 10-minute or less messaging interaction, I encourage you to use Zot Chat. Our office hours are also listed on here, 9 a.m. to 12. We do close for lunch 12 to 1. And then back from 1 to 4:30. Again, you can email our office to schedule an appointment. Next slide. We also want to make sure that you're aware of all of our social media platforms. So these are other ways to get, involved, get connected with us, and stay in the know. I would say our Instagram is probably the one that is the most active. So I recommend that if you aren't already following us, that you do. We will post on here deadlines, reminders, upcoming events. Also our YouTube channel, if we do have workshops that are recorded, we'll post them on our YouTube channel. Make sure that you do use our hashtags if you are following us and you want to tag us. Hashtags are listed there. And then one other thing I wanted to point out is that ambassadors email. So ambassadors are students just like you, typically, maybe in their 2nd, 3rd, 4th year. So if you have questions about what it's like to be a student, you want to get connected with them, their email is listed here too. Next slide. All right, we do have a guest speaker, so I'm going to pause and see if they're already here. Is our ESC representative here?
Erica, he had to step away for 1 moment. He'll be right back.
Okay.
Michael.
All right.
Does anyone have any questions while we're waiting? Anything we can clear up? Okay, Michael's back now. Michael, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to you so you can give some information on student organizations.
Perfect, thank you. Am I able to share screen by any chance? Or like,
Yes, you should be able to know.
okay, cool. Okay, y'all. Well, first, thank y'all for letting me chat here with y'all. But yeah, no, my name is Michael. Just a little bit about me, I guess. Excuse me. I'm a third year aerospace and mechanical engineering major with a minor in business. And this year I'm going to be the I'm sorry if you can hear my puppies, but this year I'm going to be the vice president of development for Engineering Student Council. And so yeah, I'll just go a little bit over like what ESC is, what some of the other ESOs are, and just some like upcoming events and stuff. Okay, so yeah, so we pretty much represent like the undergraduate students here at the School of Engineering. Oh, sorry. We represent like the undergraduate students here at the School of Engineering. So pretty much like gonna be y'all, gonna be me, stuff like that. We like to really connect the students with faculty, like kind of like bridge the gap and stuff, and like hold events for both to attend and everything. Give you like the chance of like that informal relationship with them that you might not in the class, right? We're also excuse me, okay, I apologize. Yeah, we also are the umbrella organizations for some of the other ESOs. So pretty much that like we help like ensure that they're able to like operate some of the events that they need, make sure they don't need any help with anything. We like allocate funding to them and everything. And yeah, we just pretty much like, we also do a lot of like collabs with them. But yeah, it's really fun. Oh my God. Sorry. And we also like, we do have a corporate outreach committee, and pretty much like our corporate, we have a corporate committee, right? And we pretty much like coordinate with a lot of like external organizations and like companies in industry, right? And we have a lot of events that are mostly like targeting, or like mostly for like getting students internships, getting them like just experience networking with these corporate reps and stuff, right? And yeah, it's a great opportunity, like even if you're not in ESC, just for like any like undergraduate engineering student, and it's a great opportunity, just like good for networking, which is really important in engineering. But yeah, in ESC we do have 6 different committees, like one of those being the corporate one. But those committees, right? We have like the external committee, so corporate right there. We have a community outreach. So that's pretty much going to be like people working with like high schoolers mostly, and like some middle schoolers. But yeah, no, it's pretty much like getting them involved with us here a little bit, showing them like what engineering is, like exposing them to some of like the stuff they'd be doing here and whatnot. It's a really, I think it's really fun. We've gotten to like do a bunch of different like little demos and stuff for them. But that one's really fun. But yeah, and then the internal committees, we have faculty and student involvement. So pretty much the faculty committee like really tries to plan events that that, like I said, like bridges the gap with or between like students and faculty. And then the student involvement committee is pretty much just trying to get students in the School of Engineering involved. Last year we had like a scavenger hunt for like the new students to campus, and that was really fun. And then yeah, the development committees, we have Life, that's Leaders in Freshman Engineering, and it's for freshmen, just like providing them with like academic and professional development, like workshops and whatnot to develop their skills and stuff. And then the EMF committee, Engineers Mentoring the Future. It's for like second, third, fourth years. We pretty much pair them with one of the students in Life and allow them to like provide them with some resources and stuff, like just pretty much help like guide them through their freshman year here. And yeah. Yeah. And then so pretty much just like a little like glimpse of ESC, right? We got like our Art of Engineering event. That's pretty much something every fall. It kind of just shows like the fun side of engineering, not just like the math and everything. Like we have more than that to engineering. We had like some dance groups come out last year. It was pretty cool. It was really fun. There's like raffle prizes and stuff. It's a good time. We have a lot of like professional events. We also have like social fun events and stuff, right? Like the scavenger hunt, like I said. Also we do like, if y'all know what Anteater Enrollment Fair is, it's a great opportunity not to just like familiarize yourself with ESC, but to familiarize yourself with like any ESO, right? Or not even engineering student orgs, right? You can get involved with other student orgs, right? Like, so AIF, pretty much like the majority of like student orgs and stuff will just like be boothing at Aldrich Park, and it's really fun. You just get to walk around and like there's so many people. It's like you just get to walk and like learn about the different like involvements you could get, like you could be a part of and stuff, right? It's a really good idea to just like go chat with people. I think it's really fun. There's no like no real loss. It's just a fun time. But yeah, and then we do have like bonfires and stuff, right? And that's pretty much like just the like, I mean, it's called bonfire. Like it's just like so people can like bond, socialize. Like it's mostly that one we did a lot of like EMF and life, like I don't know, just have them socialize and stuff, because we wanted to get the freshmen like really comfortable with their mentors, right? So if like I know y'all are like transfer students and stuff, so if being a mentor is something that interests you, I thought it was a really fun experience. I actually I was the director of the mentoring committee last year, and I got to be a mentor too, and I really enjoyed it. Both my mentees were really great, and I don't know, it's just another fun like relationship you get to develop, you know, more people you get to know here. It's really great. I really like it. But yeah, we also had like the food fair and stuff. It's pretty much just another one of those fun things, like more of a fundraising effort, but had all like a lot of the ESOs come out and like booth and just like sell goodies from their club or something, right? It's really cool. But we do have some like ESC only events and stuff, right? So like that's like the ESC Olympics. It was just like a fun day, like a bunch of games like at the park and stuff. Like we had tug of war there. But yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, and we also have like I said, more professional events, right? So we have like the research fair. Actually I saw y'all like talking about like faculty advising and whatnot, trying to learn about research. Well, this is another opportunity. I think research is great. You should really get involved in that. And this is like we have like some select faculty come out and they'll talk about their research, like what they're doing. Gives you an opportunity to like one-on-one with them in a breakout room. I think it's a really great opportunity just to at least like learn about like a lot of the different like research topics you can get involved in, right? Because there's so many, right? Like it's, I don't know, I think you should really at least like hear about them, right? If anything, it's just a cool thing to learn about. But yeah, and then the alumni networking night was pretty much just, I mean, kind of given in the name, but we had Dean Eggerstedt just talking at the Cove. It was really fun. If y'all haven't been to the Cove, by the way, I really suggest it. That place is so cool. It's at Beal Applied Innovation, and yeah, it's just a great place. It's really cool. That room, that's called the Beach, and like everything's like ocean themed, and it's really cool. The tables are like surfboards, right? So it's, I don't know, it's really sick. I love it. But anyway, yeah. We also had we had How to Survive Engineering, and that is like every fall as well. I put that on last year because it's the mentoring committee that hosts it, and it's pretty much like like it's more like oriented towards either transfer students or freshmen, and it's just people new to the to the like UCI engineering and stuff, pretty much provides like resources and information on what engineering is like here. Some like tools you should know about. And yeah, I mean, it also goes over like some of the opportunities I've been talking about here. I think it's a really great, just like the like info session and whatnot. Doesn't take too long. So if y'all are interested in something like that, you'll probably get an email about that like around like week 3 maybe. I think it's planned for week 5 right now, but yeah, I mean, I highly suggest that like you at least keep an eye out for that, just so you can get some more information. But yeah, now the main the main week that we like are really busy is E-Week. It's like a nationwide thing, I guess. But yeah, we had like our kickoff fair last year where we got a mechanical bull. That was really fun. And then we had our dean's breakfast. So the dean and some other faculty came out and made like pancakes for people, and yeah, it's just cool. Design projects come out and like showcase. So I know Rocket came out and brought their whole like vertical assembly and everything, which was really neat. And then we had like race car come out. So yeah, I mean, those events are just like cool to just chat with other students, with faculty, and just learn about different things. But yeah, the engineering and Aldrich one, that's actually the outreach committee. So that's what I was talking about, like working with high school students and whatnot. Well, this was actually like really big event in Aldrich last year where we had like 200 high school students come out, and it was really insane. We got to like teach them about some engineering topics and stuff. Had different booths with things that they could do. Like Rocket came out and brought like this little like demo for them. They got to work on and get some like hands-on experience. Like this is really fun. Race car brought their whole race car. So like students got to sit in that, and yeah, they love that. But yeah, and we at the bottom we got Engitech. That's actually the corporate committee again. And that's what I'm saying, like we put on like corporate puts on a lot of like events so you can get like internships or jobs. This is a really big one. Companies will like pay us to come out and just like learn about the students that we have to offer, right? Because like UCI's got amazing talent and students, and we want to be able to avail that talent to these companies and industry. And it's an amazing time to like just chat with them, learn about their companies. They have a lot of times they have like exclusive internship applications like that they release there. So like you're not going to be competing against just like everyone, right? You're going to be competing against like just students from that application specifically. And so it's really good. I think it's a very good opportunity. You don't have to be part of ESC, right? So like don't feel like that's like an obstacle or something, or like it's exclusive. No, it's for like every engineering student. Really good opportunity. You get to like one-on-one after as well. You like book your session with them. So like it's really like I suggest it. But yeah, anyways. Then like the middle one, Life Tank, that's actually just like exclusively for the freshman committee. It pretty much provides them with like project development experience. They need to like solve a problem, come up with a concept, kind of like Shark Tank and everything. And it's really fun. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be able to participate because it's for the freshman committee, but you could always like participate in the sense of being like a mentor if you want, or even just come watch. I mean, I know we're opening it up to everyone to come watch it because it's really fun. But yeah, that's something in the fall or in the winter, so that's something you got to look forward to. But yeah, if you are interested in any of the other ESOs, I can probably send this link. But let's see. It's really good. Like okay, there we go. Yeah, you can learn about like all the other ESOs. There's so many. Sorry. There's so many. I don't know all of them. Like even looking at this screen, I know a lot of these mean, but I still know what a lot of them mean. It's just like there's a ton, right? There's more than you can find here. So that link I sent is a great opportunity to like learn about I'm so sorry, but to like learn about the other engineering student orgs and stuff, right? They have like, there's so many different things they can all offer. You don't need to just do one if you want. Like there's a lot where you can do multiple. Just don't overcommit. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to get involved with ESC, not by any means. But I just suggest getting involved in something, you know. I don't know. It's really important to get involved. Each of them have their different like things to offer. So like, I don't know, just do something, get involved somehow. But yeah, no, it's really fun. Yeah, feel free to check that link out. They'll have like more info on all of them, more than I can provide. But yeah, if you have any questions about some, I might be able to answer. But yeah, so if you are interested at all in ESC specifically, feel free to like fill this out. I'll send the link in chat now. But there's no commitment with anything. If you just want to get like the ESC newsletter, if you just fill that out, we'll still have like the little sign up thing on there, so you can just get like informed about events. But yeah, you don't need to join ESC or anything. You just fill that out if you want. I put the link in chat. But yeah, if y'all have any questions about stuff, feel free to like reach out. This will email me directly and my co-VP. Otherwise, feel free to like DM us on Insta. But yeah, no, if y'all have any questions, like feel free. I saw there was some in the chat, but I'll try and answer them now. But okay. Oh, some of the events. If you want more info about the events, we might have some on our website. If you just look up like ESC at UCI or something on Google, or like UCI Engineering Student Council, something like that, you'll find it. Otherwise, feel free to just like reach out to anyone here. I'd be more than happy to tell you about more. But yeah, no, I hope that helps. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to email us or anything. But yeah, no, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Does anybody have any questions for Michael before we move forward? All right, well, thank you for your informative presentation. On here, we want to give you guys some links and deadlines. So if you all want to scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, it'll actually take you to our undergraduate website. We have a specific tab just for you as a transfer student with all the links that we discussed that you'll need, any upcoming deadlines, as well as a link from our professor that couldn't be here today that was going to provide some research opportunities. He has a full doc on there with helpful links on how to get involved with research. And then another thing that I wanted to point out on the website is laptops. So all of you will need a laptop. If you're wondering what the best laptop is to use, or information on how to get your laptop ready, we will have a link on there along with our lab manager's email, so you can email her for any questions related to how to get that laptop ready for the fall. So we'll leave this up for about a minute so you guys can get that QR code. All right, and let's go to the other slide. Okay, so this does conclude the morning's presentation. We will stay on here for a few minutes in case anybody has any questions. Now, next steps are we're going to be breaking for lunch, so enjoy your lunch. The enrollment session will begin at 1:30 p.m. All of you, please make sure that you check your UCI email. You will receive an email from your academic counselor with your fall plan of study. So it'll include the classes for fall that you're going to be enrolling in, along with some helpful registration links. During this break, we recommend that you go through those registration links. Most of them are quick 1 to 2 minute video links that will walk you through how to register for classes. So it'll help for you to get familiarized with the system. Now the email is going to be sent with a Zoom link. So you're going to be going to a different Zoom link at 1:30. It will not be this link. It's going to be a new Zoom link with your academic counselor, and you're now going to be in a smaller group setting. So you'll be going over all things enrollment. We'll stay on here for a few minutes in case anyone has questions. If you do not have any questions, you are free to go. Have a good break and make sure you check your UCI email for your plan of study and the Zoom link for the 1:30 p.m. session. You're welcome. Now, for those of you that haven't received the email, don't worry, they're coming. They're probably going to be coming in the next hour or so if you haven't received it yet. So just keep an eye out.
Hi, I have a question.